Kia ora e te iwi and welcome to The Chew. Coming at you from the Pūrako studio here in Te Atamira, Queenstown, New Zealand. Ko Arrowtown Dad tēnei, and today we are chewing the fat with Nathan Keil. Kia ora, Nathan.
Kia ora.
Kia ora. Right, so I'm just going to ask you now to introduce yourself, and then we'll have a bit of a chat about where you're from and growing up.
Kia ora koutou. Ko maunga kahia te maunga, ko kupu whare te awa, ko rā kātoa te marae, ko ronga mō wahine tahapu, ko Ngāti Kahununu te iwi, ko Nathan Keil ahau.
Kia ora. Ka pai.
Kia ora.
Oh, paito pepe, I love
Kia
that. So you were born and bred in Invercargill?
I sure was.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
Born down there, 5 brothers and sisters, well, 5 including myself.
Yeah.
We all went to school there, and then went to high school, and then left to go to university in Dunedin.
Yeah, right.
And haven't really been back to Invercargill, to be honest.
Ah.
I spent 1 year back there after uni,
Yeah.
but then moved back to Dunedin, then some time offshore, and
Yeah.
now in the lovely Queenstown.
Great. So growing up in Invercargill, did you have a great childhood growing up back in those days?
Oh, it's a great place.
Yeah.
It still is. It cops a lot of flack.
It does.
Out of Invercargill, but it's good. It was a great place to grow up. There were a lot of kids in our neighbourhood. There was a playground on the corner. You'd be playing sport after school every day on the weekends. The schooling was good. You bike, run to school.
Yeah.
It was good. It was a really good place to grow up.
Yeah.
It was safe. You get the beach not too far away.
Yeah.
We all learned to drive on the beach. Bluff wasn't too far away. You got the Catlins, you got Collett Bay, Riverton.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic place to grow up.
Oh, you just named some of my favourite places to go. I'm a big fan of Collett Bay and the Catlins now. So, yeah, it definitely looks like it'd be a great place to grow up. I do find that when I go down to Invercargill, it reminds me of my childhood. You know, I'm not going to call it a time warp. Like, I'm not going to sort of talk about it that way, but it's certainly got that small big town feel. You know, like or a big small town. It's more like a big small town feel. I like it. It's got a good vibe, like Gisborne. But I tell you what, it's got way more kaimoana down there. like, we're all tapped out up in Gisborne. You know,
I'm sure Bluff will be at some stage as well.
Yeah. Oh, I just can't believe how much there is down there still. You know, like today. But anyway, so just touching on your childhood again. So, how did you find it as a young Māori boy growing up there? Did anything about being Māori shape the way that shape your childhood or the way that you ended up in adulthood as well?
Probably not. I think back to primary school. Mum and Dad they didn't, and they don't speak Māori.
Right.
Dad is Māori. But we didn't speak Māori as kids.
Yep.
I was fortunate enough to go to Tweedsmuir Intermediate School, which is now Southland Girls High, and at Tweedsmuir we had a bilingual class.
Okay.
So I was there for 2 years. So that was my first introduction to life as a young Māori.
Right.
We had a small taste as very young children through family friends, but not a lot.
Yeah.
So to me as a young Māori, I was no different to anybody else.
Right.
I think Dad played footy for the Southland Māori team.
Right.
But yeah, as far as their upbringing and in my experience as a young lad, it was being Māori was just normal to me.
Yeah.
My time in the bilingual class was fantastic.
Yeah.
Got to know a lot more about myself.
Yeah. Right.
And then going into high school. There was a Māori class there, which I was in for a wee bit, but I think by the time I left high school, I don't know if they were still offering it.
Right. Okay. And so I heard in your pepeha that you're from Ngāti Kahungunu. So
Yes.
Did your family, did you ever go back there for holidays at all? Do you still have family back up there?
Yep, still have family up there. And I can't remember how old I was, but probably 2 or 3 times we went up. There was us, Mum and Dad, and it may have only been 4 kids at that stage.
Yep.
So we were in one van. My auntie and uncle and and my 2 cousins were in another van, and then Nana and Granddad were in another van. And we were 3 vans driving up to Napier Hastings and then up a wee bit further up to Mahia.
Oh, wow.
It was, for us as kids, it was fantastic. It was a lot of fun being in the back of the van for mum and dad. Probably not so much.
Yeah. That is a long hike.
Yeah.
It's quite funny because, those are my memories too.
Yep.
Like back in the day, if we ever had to travel somewhere as a family, we all just got in a van or got in a whole bunch of vans, just like yours.
Yeah.
And we'd typically, ours was Auckland, because I grew up in Gisborne. So our family, if we had to travel anywhere, we would all get in vans and we'd go to Auckland or go to Wellington. Very rarely would we cross the Cook Strait, to be fair. But that is a long hike from Invercargill.
Yeah.
And so did you spend any time like around Marae when you went back up there at all?
Yeah, it's up at Mahia. Our family Marae is up there.
Yep.
And we were, I think, every trip that I've been on, we would go there and would spend some time there.
Wow,
fantastic. I think the first time we went there was for Dad's, it was for an unveiling on Dad's side. And it was great. There were, to be honest, it was a lot of people, a lot of cousins, aunties and uncles that we never met.
Yeah,
and we were all staying in Marae together. It was great. As a young kid, it was fantastic. There was our river was just across the paddock.
Yep.
So we'd go down there, swim in the river. The beach was never, the beach was always close.
Right there.
Horses running around. The dad's uncles, they were all running around on the horses, chucking us on the back. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was good. And then my intermediate, we would spend a lot of time in the Marae whilst at intermediate school in the kapahaka there. And so that was in Bluff and in Invercargill, Kaikoura.
Fantastic. Oh, you're so lucky.
Yeah.
I've been to quite a few of the marae in the South Island here. They're fantastic.
Yep.
Like the new one, Te Aroha at Bluff.
Yeah.
Boy, that's a majestic marae, that
is,
one.
yeah.
Really nice to stay in as well. So you spend a little bit of time up there. I love Mahia. Our family used to have a little beach house at Mahia back in the day.
Yep.
I used to go to school in Wairau for a bunch of years, so I know the area well. And Mahia is a fantastic spot. Yeah, really.
I haven't been there for a long time, so I know it's not that far away, and I should make the time to get up there and have a good look around again.
Yeah, I bet it hasn't changed much. Maybe a few more shops, maybe. But apart from that, it's one of those paradises. It's just like here, like Nelson. There's these places around New Zealand. There's just fantastic places to live.
Yeah.
So you finished high school. You went to I think you went to university in Dunedin.
I did.
Right? Yep.
So when I was sixth form, maybe seventh form, the accounting firms down in Invercargill that went around and spoke to the local high schools.
Yep.
And what they were trying to do was bring in or attract children that were about to leave high school and go to uni or go and do a trade, and they wanted them to come on board and work with them and do effectively an accounting apprenticeship.
Right.
So I was lucky enough to pick up one of those at a firm down in Invercargill. So my 7th year at school, my final year, I did some admin work in the accounting firm. Then when I finished up, I went straight into working for that accounting firm, and I was working 30, 35 hours a week whilst also doing 2 papers of my accounting degree.
Wow.
So Otago, they were running it through Southern Polytech.
Yeah.
So I did 2 papers. I did my 100 levels, 200 levels down there, and then moved to Dunedin to finish off my degree.
Wow,
so
fantastic.
It was great,
were you the only one that picked up the whole accounting thing through your year 7 at school, or was there a few?
No, there's quite a few. So the firm that I was at, they took on 3.
Right.
There were probably maybe 10 across the different accounting firms down there.
Wow.
And for me, I see it as a great way for young people to get a taste of accounting.
Yeah.
You get a small insight as to what the life of an accountant is like. and I think it allows you or them to make a good decision come university time that yes, I do want to be an accountant.
Right.
It's a qualification and a profession that I do want to pursue.
Yeah.
As opposed to going straight to uni.
Unsure,
doing your degree, taking up a big student loan, and then getting a job and not liking it.
Yeah, right.
So it's I don't know if it's that common nationwide, but down south it certainly was.
I've never heard of. I'm not sure why I would have heard of it, but I've never heard of it. But it just sounds like a fantastic pathway to catch young people coming out of high school.
Yeah.
This happens often where they'll come out of sixth form, seventh form, and they'll not really know what they want to do, so it'll be an OE or it'll be something else, and they're still not quite sure about what they want to do. For me, it makes sense. I wished in my seventh form year that I had that kind of thing, because I ended up doing like classical studies and physics and stuff. I was kind of confused about where I wanted to go, but if I have had a pathway into not just a trade, but something like accounting as well, then, that's just I think personally it would be a much more seamless way of getting young people into the workforce. Interestingly, I'm not sure if you know the answer to this, but the others who also took up those offers, did they carry on in accounting?
So my year, there were 3 of us, and no, 2 of them did the first 2 years. Yep. And then went to uni and did something else. Right. So I was the only one that actually did return. Right. But the year ahead of me, there were 2 that had, I think, both of the candidates that come in and went to uni did come back, and then the year ahead of them again, there were quite a few. Right. But I don't know if they're still doing it. Great. Yeah.
I mean, I often think about accounting as like, would I have liked doing something like accounting? I'm an IT guy now, but certainly maths and logical situations was sort of my forte. I often think, I think I could have been an accountant. I might have enjoyed that. Yeah.
Well, it's a great profession, and the Chartered Accountant qualification, the CA qualification, is a great addition to somebody's CV. Yeah. There's loads of CAs around the world that have started off doing accounting, got their CA qualification, and then branched out to something completely different. Yeah, right. A lot of the top executives up and down the country in Australia and elsewhere do have that CA. Do have that, accreditation on their CV. Fantastic. Yeah. So when you finished your degree, did you go straight into work, or did you sort of take a bit of time to travel or anything? So I finished, and then I took 3 or 4 months, and I actually went to the freezing works down in Invercargill. Just worked in the freezing works? I wanted to go to the freezing works, and nice. It was good. I had plenty of friends that were there, and I just I knew I was going to start my accounting job sooner or later. Yeah. And I just said, hey, I'm going to take some time off. Not time off, but I'm going to do something different for a wee bit. And I went, spent some time there. It was good. Yeah. And then I went straight back into the accounting firm. They were great. They were more than happy for me to do something for 5 minutes and get into it. So I did a year back there at the accounting firm. Yeah. And then I moved back to Dunedin. For a different accounting firm? Yes, it was a different firm. Yeah. Ended up working with 2 firms there, and I was there for 5 or 6 years, I think. Yeah. Did my CA qualification there, and then moved to London. Wow. Spent some time over there. Okay. Still doing accounting, but just slightly different. I was in London. I was in the corporate world. Right. Working for I worked for 3 companies. Right. And then moving back to Queenstown, back into an accounting practice. So the move to the UK, was that a partial decision to get some travel in as well, or do that OE as we call it, or was it with a real focus towards ambition within your accounting? When I was at uni, I met my wife. She's now my wife, and she's an accountant as well, which is very exciting. And she wanted to travel. Right. And thanks to her, I jumped on the plane with her and travelled to London. Right. And part of that was to A, to travel, and B, to try working in a completely different country, in a different work environment with different people, different cultures.
Yes.
And working in the corporate world was completely different to what Abby and I had done in New Zealand.
Right.
And it was great. Completely different environment to here, working in that corporate world. It was good. Certainly opened my eyes up to a lot of things. But practice, what I do now, is where I always wanted to end up.
Yeah.
So after six and a half years in London, we decided to move back to Queenstown.
Great. Was it just to start a family, or was it just a natural sort of change away from a different lifestyle? Was there any particular reason why you came back?
We come back when Abby was 7 or 8 months pregnant.
Right. Right.
So it was to have our family, to start our family. London was great, but we didn't have a backyard. We didn't have any grass.
Right.
I couldn't see it being as easy or as enjoyable as raising a family back home.
Raising a family, absolutely. Yeah. And I'm going to assume you didn't regret the move back.
No, not one bit. Maybe 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning when I'm waking up doing what you have to do for young children. For my son, yes, but no, all in all, it's been fantastic.
Great.
All of my family's here, so it's
and
great.
you moved directly back to Queenstown, or did you stop in at Dunedin for a bit before you when you got back to New Zealand?
No, we were straight here.
Straight here?
Straight into Queenstown. My wife's also from Invercargill, and we both spent a lot of time up here throughout our lives. And this is where she and I wanted to settle.
Nice.
It's still close enough to the grandparents.
Yeah,
they can see our wee guy, as much as they want or need. Right. It's only 2 hours down the road. So
so both of your families are still down in Invercargill as well.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
both of our parents, brothers and sisters, cousins and all sorts are still down there.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so did you come straight into Queenstown and working for BDO, or is that the pathway that you took?
So I come back for a wedding, I think, maybe 2 years prior to moving back.
Yeah.
And I think at that stage we'd made up our mind that we were going to come back sometime in the unforeseeable future.
Yeah.
So I contacted a couple of accounting firms.
Yeah.
And one of them was Affleck O'Meara, we're now BDO, and I worked with one of the partners there in Invercargill. He'd been through the same process as what I had. The traineeship.
The school thing,
right. So meeting him and one of his colleagues, that all but made up my mind that I'd go and work for these guys. I knew them. I knew they were good people, doing good things.
Yeah.
So that was enough for me.
Easy choice.
Easy choice. Yeah. So, and they were great. They said, right, fantastic. Just get in touch when you're ready to come back. Yeah. And we'll have a seat there for you.
Nice.
And that was it. Yeah.
Boy, that must be peace of mind, knowing that
it was great.
Anytime you're ready, you've got something.
Yeah, certainly. And that was before we had the labour shortage that we've had over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
Yes, there still were a number of opportunities, but it was good to have that peace of mind that I did have a position there. And that was it was Affleck O'Meara, it wasn't BDO. So a year and a half ago, Affleck O'Meara, we joined BDO.
Right.
So a bit of a rebranding.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, for the viewers and the listeners, can you just explain who BDO is?
So BDO is a global accounting organisation. In New Zealand, there's 23 offices.
Right.
And one thing slightly different about BDO as opposed to the top four, the big four, we are all individually owned. So we all do. We've got down in Central Otago, we've got 4 offices that there's 6 partners, and we all retain ownership. We run our own ship. Yes, we do get input from up country, but at the end of the day, it's us. We call most of the shots.
Nice.
And it's a good organisation to be a part of. Right. I have worked in other accounting firms that are closely aligned to the top 4, and I just enjoy the BDO model a lot more. It's a good group to be a part of. They're very helpful up and down the country. We're able to provide great training for our staff. If there's stuff that we may not know, then there's always going to be somebody within the network that does know.
Yeah, great. Fantastic. Now, this might be a sort of a weird question, but I'll see if there's anything that you can offer, any insights you can offer here. So how does being Māori, growing up as a young Māori person, how does that how do you bring those aspects of your personality into your work, if you do at all?
It's a good question, and it's hard because I suppose it doesn't matter what I do, whether that be accounting or something completely different, I'm not going to change who I am.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the type of person that I am I'm going to make sure that comes out in the work that I do.
Yeah.
And a big part of what I do, what we do at BDO, is we're here to help.
Right.
And it doesn't matter, who that is, whether they're just starting out in business, whether they've been in business for a long time, doesn't matter where they're from. We're here to help.
Yep.
And that's something that I've always done throughout my life.
Yep.
Whether that's, I don't know if I can directly relate that to being Māori.
Māori,
but, I'm always wanted to help anybody.
Yeah.
I think everybody deserves help if they want it or if they need it.
Yeah. Fantastic. And so one thing, we'll shift focus a little bit, because this interview itself is a collaboration with KUMA, the Southern Māori Business Network. Now, I understand you've joined KUMA as well?
Yes.
Yes. And so what? Tell us what triggered that decision for you to join the KUMA family.
So I've been an accountant for just over 20 years now, about 20 years, and it wasn't until maybe two or 3 years ago that I realised I could be doing something in the Māori business space. Yeah. That the accountants are Māori accountants. Māori are underrepresented in the accounting profession
space. Yeah.
There's we're a very, very small minority.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Māori business owners, and they're doing great things. So I wanted to do something to help.
Yeah.
And I got put onto KUMA about 1.5 years ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And had a meeting here with them, and they were fantastic. I walked into the door, sat down, and I was sitting opposite Carmela, who I went to Tweedsman with a long time ago.
Right.
So that was, it was nice to see a friendly face.
Yeah.
And it's just sort of gone from there, really.
Nice, nice. So you went to school with Carmela.
I did.
Right.
Yes.
And did you immediately remember each other when you saw each other? Yeah, of course.
Yep.
Great.
A long time ago.
And
when we catch up occasionally now, we still talk about the old days.
The good old days.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. And what other people from our classes are doing, and it's good.
Fantastic. And so you also do a little bit of consulting work with Te Puni Kōkiri, TPK?
I do.
Yep.
So I have my BDO hat, and then I also, out to the side, I do some work for Te Puni Kōkiri.
Yep.
I've been doing that for 7 or 8 months now.
Okay.
And as part of that, I work with Māori businesses.
Yep.
I suppose you could call it a health check on the business.
Yeah.
And we can look at their financial affairs, their health and safety position, their insurance.
Yep.
With the end goal of trying to help those businesses pick up more work.
Right.
Or win government contracts.
Right.
And the government have got a target of 8%. Of government contracts that they want to be awarded to Māori businesses.
Wow. Okay.
It's been an increase in what it has been in the past.
Wow.
So what I'm trying to do is identify, find our businesses, and if they want, help them to, well, first of all, find the tenders.
Yeah.
Which there's loads of tenders out there.
Yeah.
And then find the business that is interested,
mm-hmm.
and then help them through that process.
Wow.
With a view to training them on what they need to do to enable them to go through that process on their own in the future.
Well, I have to say that's a fantastic service that you're offering. Especially, you're obviously a high achiever. You're obviously you've gone to the higher levels of corporate world within accounting, and it's great to see that you're keen to come back and give back to the community as well. So it's interesting to me that what I'd like to know is what triggered your want to come back and help Māori businesses in particular to be the best they can do, or to give them that leg up into business.
I think I've always had the want to do it. It's just getting a bit older and a change of focus, I suppose.
Yep.
And just realising that I have a number of years' experience doing different things.
Yeah.
How can I share that experience with other people?
Yeah. Right.
And the experience that I've gained, I think I can provide a lot of value to Māori business.
Yeah.
So I think that I owe it to a lot of people to be doing that.
Oh, fantastic. That's great. And so I'll ask this question. It's a yin and the yang type thing. So first question is, what are the things you love about doing that, about offering that mentoring? And more importantly, what types of challenges do you come across with that as well?
I enjoy... I was speaking to a guy yesterday, and I just told him some of the stuff that I'm about to do, and he was just ecstatic. He was so pleased that I'm about to help him. He's new to business, and I'll be able to help him get everything all lined up so he can operate his business in a sustainable way. And just seeing actually I didn't meet with him, I spoke to him on the phone, and just hearing the joy, the relief in his voice was very satisfying, and it just it drives me to do it more and more.
Great. It's fantastic. I can understand that, because it's you honestly feel like you're doing good and you're making a difference, I suppose. So what are the challenges that you've come across, either in your life as an accountant, or in this recent world where you're helping to mentor Māori businesses?
My life as an accountant, challenges have been no different to anybody else's. It's not easy, getting all your qualifications, getting your experience. Challenges helping Māori businesses. It's no different to any other challenge, but I think the challenge is with some Māori businesses is making them believe that they can do what they think they can do, even if they can only think they can do it a little bit. There's a lot of very smart Māori business owners out there. And KUMA Awards a month or two ago was, there was a lot of good people there that are doing great things.
Fantastic.
And a lot of them know that they are doing great things, and they know what to do. But then there's people that they might just be starting out, or they might have a small business that they don't know that they can grow if they want to grow. So some of the challenges are not convincing, but just making people believe in what they're doing, that they're doing good things, and helping them throughout their journey.
You certainly come across like a very optimistic person. Obviously, you can see potential that others may not be able to see. Now, I'm interested because you sound like a very hardworking person. Obviously, you've done well and you've worked hard for it. So, do you feel like personally you ever either hit that wall, or you came close to sort of overworking yourself, burning out, doing any of those sorts of things?
Every week. Burn out every week. No, if I'm not pushing myself, if I'm not challenging myself, I get bored.
Wow.
So I always like to find new things, new challenges. And that, that's 9 times out of 10, it's all within the accounting world. The business world.
Wow.
So it's I always have to be working hard. I don't like sitting at my desk twiddling my thumbs. That's just not how I operate.
Nice.
There's nothing wrong with being like that. Nothing wrong with that at all.
No. Especially if you function well. Yes. It's if you're functioning, it's not a problem. That's it is one of these things that does afflict a lot of people. But if you can soldier through it, or Yeah, I get the impression that you enjoy being in that environment, that fast pace,
Yes.
getting stuff done, keep yourself busy environment. Yeah.
Yep.
It's certainly not for everyone.
No, it's not.
Yeah. I thought it was for me, but I found out the hard way it wasn't.
Yep.
So I went through that burnout phase myself.
Yeah.
And
it's not easy.
No.
Yeah, it's important that if you are reaching burnout phase, that you're able to identify that.
Yes.
And if you need to take a break, take a break.
Yes.
At BDO, we're 6 partners.
Yeah.
We've all got young families.
Yeah.
We all treasure our time with our families. So it's important that I still get to see my son.
Absolutely.
Every night. I'm not in the office till midnight, 2-3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
I'm not working at weekends.
Yeah.
Family is very important, and that was one of the big attractions for me.
Yeah.
For BDO.
And probably one of the good reasons to come back to New Zealand as well.
Yeah.
It's just, and especially Queenstown, it's hard not to live that balanced life here because it's all around you constantly.
Yeah. The lake's right there, the river's there, the hills are there, there's everything.
Yeah. And so I would assume you're quite an active person as well?
I try to be. I can't run like I used to. My body is, I'm getting older.
Yeah.
But no, I still. My son's just turned 6, so I still like to be out on the bike and running around with him. And the lakes, it's on our doorstep. So
great.
Summer I'm in there. Any chance I get.
Did you play a lot of sport back when you were younger?
When I was younger, I played rugby.
Yeah.
Well, when I was at primary school, intermediate, high school, we would have played cricket on the weekends, t-ball and softball on the weekends, rugby, touch rugby. We were lucky enough, we'd have school trips up here to go skiing. Dad's into hunting, so he got us into hunting. We're into diving, fishing. There's, the joys of living down south.
Yeah, they are.
And I still like to do some of those things, but just not as much as what I was able to when I was younger.
Yeah, right. That's great. It's been a fantastic chat so far. We're getting close to wrapping up, but I sort of one question I do want to ask that's separate is what are your hopes and aspirations for Māori businesses, especially in this region?
There's a lot of good Māori businesses out there now, and there's a lot that I haven't heard of, come across, met, and the more people that I speak to, the more Māori businesses I find out about. Yeah, I would just like to see all of those businesses, do well. Yeah, and be able to provide jobs to other people. Yeah, a lot of the Māori businesses that I have met and spoken with, they're small Māori businesses that employ a lot of their whānau. From all over the country, which is fantastic. Yep. And I just want to do all I can, and I'd love to see all those businesses be here in 20 years. Yeah, right. To grow, a strong Māori business community. Yeah. I think we're on the path to doing that. KUMA's doing some fantastic things. They are. The regular catch-ups that we have are great, and it's a good opportunity for business owners to share, their wins, their challenges. Great. So for me, I would like to see that continue. Yeah. And so you just touched on KUMA. They do a great job of connecting businesses together. Is there anything else you think they could help with making those connections better? Well, it's hard. Everybody's busy. Yeah. I'd love for KUMA to have a hui once a month. Yep. And those hui be attended by a lot of people. Yeah. But I know people are busy. Yeah. And there's a lot of work on. There's various other issues that we're all facing. Yeah. Which means that not everybody can attend. Yeah. Each of the meetings that KUMA are putting on. I'd love to see them be once a month and have really good attendance. Yeah, great, fantastic. But I certainly acknowledge the fact that it's not as simple as that. Yeah, right. Yeah. Especially in Queenstown, I do find the average person here is a very busy person. Yep. There's lots of projects going on. I can't say I ever meet anyone that doesn't have a lot of things they're juggling. Yep. Very common thing here in Queenstown. Yes. So
Now, just coming back to KUMA again. So, did you attend the awards ceremony that we had recently?
I did.
Yeah.
That was the first awards that I attended.
Oh, right.
And they were fantastic.
Yeah. So, what was your experience there? And was there any moments that stood out for you from that evening?
I think the whole evening itself, from start to finish, was fantastic.
Yeah.
You did a great job.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And I think because there were businesses there that I hadn't come across before.
Right.
So, and that's probably what I enjoyed most about it.
Yes.
Just seeing that. I know there's a lot of great Māori businesses that are doing great things.
Yeah.
But there are some businesses that are doing some really, really amazing things, and just to see that that there are Māori out there doing those things.
Yeah.
That there was the big highlight for me.
Yeah, great. It was such a good night.
It was.
And I take that point too, that I was surprised at some of the businesses I saw there and some of the people. Just when you think you know everyone in Queenstown, you meet some more people. Yeah. So it was really good. It was good that they came as well, and it wasn't about anything else but sort of celebrating being Māori. I think that's what I felt in that room.
Yeah.
It was quite a different type of award ceremony. I felt like it.
It was great.
So that pretty much wraps up our chat today. Thank you so much, Nathan.
My pleasure.
But before we wrap up, I just have one quick fire question for you, and I'm not sure if you're going to have the answer off the top of your head. You probably will, but if you could go back in time and you could give some advice to your 18-year-old self, what advice would you have given yourself?
There's probably two answers to that question.
Okay, great.
If I could give an 18-year-old version of myself some advice, it would be just if something pops into my head, like a career, a business opportunity, anything like that, just give it a crack. Don't hold back. Just back yourself and do it.
Excellent. Did you find that you second-guessed decisions back at that age? Or
at the age of 18, I wouldn't have had the mindset to make decisions that I'm able to make now, and it's understandable given an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
But even at the age of 30, if I could, the decisions I was able to make at that age, I just backed myself a lot more.
Great.
And I don't know what made me. I don't know if I was doubting myself, but yeah. 18-year-old Nathan Keil, just back yourself and do it.
Back yourself, yeah. That's fantastic. So we're almost going to wrap up our chat today. So if anyone wanted to get a hold of you, especially, it sounds like you could be a very, very helpful person to the Māori business community. So what's the best way to make contact with you? Okay,
so I have, through BDO, an email address, nathan.keil, it's Keil, at bdo.co.nz. And also with TPK, Nathan at ntkconsulting.co.nz. You can get me on either email.
Fantastic. Any last comments before we wrap up?
Any last comments? Thank you very much for your time.
Yep.
It's been a wonderful chat.
Great.
KUMA are doing fantastic things.
They are.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So, e mihi atu nei ki a koe. Thank you so much for the chat today. It's been great to get to know you. I love hearing the experiences of young Māori who have grown up in this region. Really enjoyed the chat today. And so, for you, e te iwi, if you have any questions for Nathan, if you have any comments to make, you pop them down in the comments section below. And remember to like and subscribe to the channel. And we'll catch you next time on The Chew. Mā te wā.